This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Tonight on the South Today, Australian Prime Minister Scott Morrison visits the Queenstown region. A herd of 500 cows treks 20 kilometres near Balclutha. And a new bike track for young riders opens in Wanaka. Tēnā koutou katoa, ngā mihi o te ahiahi nei, kia ora, I'm Simon Anderson. Australian Prime Minister Scott Morrison's visit to Queenstown could provide a much-needed boost to the local tourist economy. That's the hope of local Mayor Jim Bolt, who sees opportunity in the visit to encourage some of Morrison's countrymen from over the ditch.
Wreaths were laid at Arrowtown's War Memorial this morning by New Zealand Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern and visiting Australian Prime Minister Scott Morrison. The solemn event marks the start of the second day of Morrison's visit to Queenstown. Queenstown Lakes Mayor Jim Bolt says having the two leaders visit the area will help turn a much-needed international spotlight onto the region, hopefully encouraging Australian tourists to visit.
As everybody knows, we need an economic boost. This will put us on lots of television sets in Australia and hopefully convince a whole lot of Australians to come to this part of the world.
Bolt says he's had a chance to talk to the Australian Prime Minister and renew an old acquaintanceship.
I did know him in the past. I worked with him at Tourism New Zealand back in the 1990s, so it's good to catch up with him on that, but I stressed how pleased we are to have Australians back in this part of the world, and I asked him to go back and spread the message even further.
And Bolt says there's every likelihood Scott Morrison will return to the south with his family in the near future.
Mrs Morrison is a big Queenstown supporter, and she tells me they'll be back for a holiday at some stage.
Scott Morrison and his wife Jenny are set to fly back to Australia later today. In Arrowtown, the South Today.
Intense rain across Canterbury over the weekend brought widespread flooding across the South Island's east coast. The event swelled several rivers to near the point of bursting their banks, forcing many homes to evacuate as a precaution. A week-long state of emergency has been declared in the Ashburton district. While rains have eased, several state highways remain closed, meaning there is no way to travel up the east coast to Christchurch, while Ashburton remains cut off both north and south. Several people have been airlifted to safety by helicopter, including a farmer who was hauled from the swollen Canterbury River. 500 dairy cows were on the move near Clydevale this weekend as they were guided to winter grazing. A group of locals helped out with the annual shift by riding along on horseback to keep the dairy herd calm during the 20-kilometre trek.
This huge herd of dairy cows were on the move this weekend near Clydevale, making a 20-kilometre trek from Pannetts Road to winter grazing paddocks near Tuapeka Mouth. Clydevale farmer Lachlan Johnston was busy fencing off the more tasty verges to keep his 500 cows on track. He says the annual moving day is on his mind for about a month leading up to the actual event.
I think about it from about the start of May onwards. I dread it in a way, but I'm always happy about it when we get them there.
The route takes the cows through Clydevale and over the one-lane Clydevale Bridge, with Danica Tairua and friends on horseback volunteering to help their neighbours move their dairy herds during the National Dairy Moving Day. They say the presence of horses seems to settle the cows and keeps them on a straight and narrow path. This is the third year they've helped Johnston move his cows through the town.
If they were to cause a mess or havoc through Clydevale, then I'm on display as a farmer in quite a negative way, and it would be if we got it wrong, I'd make a fairly bad name for myself pretty quickly.
The 20-kilometre journey started at 7:45 in the morning and finished about 3 p.m. near Clydevale, the south today.
Emergency services were called to King Edward Court in Dunedin this morning as it filled with smoke. A Fire and Emergency New Zealand spokesperson says the building was filling with smoke when crews arrived just after 8:30 a.m. 5 fire engines were sent to the blaze and the southbound lane of Stewart Street was blocked for a time. Firefighters were able to quickly establish that an electrical light fitting had malfunctioned and caused the fire. A bike park designed specifically for young children was opened in Wanaka at the weekend. The new trail is designed to allow young riders to learn valuable off-road cycling skills.
Parents brought their children along for the opening of the new Bremner Bay Junior Bike Park off Albury Road in Wanaka. The project has cost $20,000 and was made possible through the efforts of a number of community groups, including Rotary, Dirt Dynamics, the Men's Shed and the Wanaka Community Workshop.
It's had a fairly long gestation period from what I understand.
2 years.
Started a couple of years ago, so a bit like mainland cheese, good things take time.
While there's no age restriction, the park's geared towards junior riders. The 2-year project was coordinated by the Queenstown Lakes District Council.
A couple of people to mention, one of them's Diana Manson here from the QLDC. Diana's tirelessly and persistently driven this project for a long time.
The track is designed to be a step between the flat and easy lakeside track and the more adventurous trails such as Sticky Forest. In Wanaka, the South Today.
Still to come on the South Today, bird fanciers flocked to this year's national show held in Dunedin for the first time. And a Christchurch primary school celebrates its local heroes. Ka kite akua nei.
Inside are all sorts of innovations from all over China.
Introducing Tussock Country, New Zealand's hot new country music festival. 9 days, 30 plus events and unlimited southern hospitality. Plan your visit and buy tickets today.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
Hi, Lindsay here from Alex Campbell Menswear. We've opened another pop-up store in Invercargill. It's for a limited time. We're in D Street, 201, right beside the Lone Star. Come and check us out. We've got some fantastic deals for you. We've got moleskins, we've got every sort of shirt, worn ones, work ones, business, merino knitwear, jeans, trousers, you name it, the list goes on. It's such a big deal. Come and see us.
Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
Alex Campbell Menswear, pop-up store, D Street, Invercargill.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
Ah, TV, our favourite babysitter. But it can be tough keeping up with what our tamariki are watching. Luckily, the Broadcasting Standards Authority has made some smart changes to the classification labels. Ooh! plus changes to the time of day certain rated shows will air, and awesome new parental lock features, meaning your babysitter's job is safe. Find out more at safeviewing.co.nz.
No mai no, welcome back. Dunedin played host for the first time to a national bird show that attracted entries from bird fanciers across New Zealand at the weekend. Unfortunately, the Canterbury flooding meant about a third of exhibitors left early to get back home before roads closed.
Over 1,000 people came through the doors during the weekend to see the first national poultry, pigeon and cage bird show ever held in Dunedin.
It's balloted for between the North and South Island and all the clubs around New Zealand. We got the ballot a couple of years ago and we've just put it on. It's unbelievable. It's the biggest show we've had in 45 years we've been going, and there's 1,550 birds.
The show attracted some of the biggest bird breeders in New Zealand, with 190 championship titles up for grabs.
Once you've selected your breed, you need to understand the standard and breed to the standard. So if it's a big tail and the proper stance of the bird, then that's what you've got to look at. You've got to balance that within a pairing and try to maximise that.
Basically, you're competing against your best friends, and and if you win, you definitely get good crowing points, not brownie points, crowing points.
Many bird fanciers often raise more than one species, always trying to get the best looking plumage to appear in their flock.
I've got budgies, I've got Yorkshire canaries, Gloucester canaries, what else? I've got colour-feds, borders, I've got all sorts of finches. I've got Gouldians, parrot finches, zebra finches, Bengalese, and the list goes on.
The show attracted bird fanciers from all across the country, but after flooding in Canterbury became an issue for some from out of town, a third of the show's 1,500 entries went home early, leaving at Saturday lunchtime. In Dunedin, the South Today.
An exhibition by Christchurch Primary School pupils is celebrating what it takes to be a local hero. The Casebrook Intermediate School Hall was transformed into an art gallery with hundreds of framed black and white photos of community heroes on display.
We have been doing a study on what makes a community hero. We wanted our students to start looking at people closer to their lives that maybe have a big influence on what they do, or people they can look up to that aren't necessarily people on TV or rugby players or people who are famous. We wanted them to investigate people who do things as a part of everyday life that has an impact on others. We've got parents, brothers and sisters, cousins, grandparents, coaches. It's been a really cool cross-section of our local community, and it's shown how diverse and how talented our community is to our students, which has been great. So all our students presented a photo of their hero, but also with a QR code that linked to a digital story. So that's been the really interesting part, is there's been lots of different learning in terms of digital technologies, but also ways of presenting people's stories. It doesn't always have to be on a boring slideshow. It can be a podcast or a video or some infographics.
Today I'm going to be interviewing Mike Davidson, who's on the Christchurch City Council and makes a difference in our community. Here's our interview.
End result is predominantly about celebrating these people in the community more than the best story. What it has shown the kids is that they come to school with kids from all walks of life, and I guess the reward is they know that their community is really vibrant and supportive. Our plan with all the photos is to hopefully return them to their community hero, so they can have them as a bit of a a treasure, I suppose, or maybe they want to put it in a shoebox and keep it well hidden, I'm not sure.
After the break on the south today, 2 Dunedin rugby teams battled it out in the rain and mud. And will the wet weather continue? Find out after the break.
Inside are all sorts of innovations from all over China.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
Hi, Lindsay here from Alex Campbell Menswear. We've opened another pop-up store in Invercargill. It's for a limited time. We're in D Street, 201, right beside the Lone Star. Come and check us out. We've got some fantastic deals for you. We've got moleskins, we've got every sort of shirt, worn ones, work ones, business, merino knitwear, jeans, trousers, you name it, the list goes on. It's such a big deal. Come and see us.
Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
Alex Campbell Menswear, pop-up store, D Street, Invercargill.
MTF Finance can help you turn the key on your next vehicle with a loan made just for you. TCs and lending criteria apply.
What have you got? Okay. Chicks World, party time, excellent. Love it. Chicks World. Chicks World. Right.
Hoki mai anō. Wet and slippery conditions didn't stop Dunedin's club rugby teams from facing off across the city on Saturday. Dunedin club handed varsity a 2-point loss at University Oval, the boot of Sam Clark letting him down as he missed 2 crucial goals near the end of the match.
Welcome to ODT Rugby Chat down here at a very dark, dank, gloomy day at the University Oval. We just witnessed a thriller. Dunedin have held on to win 18-16. I've got Sam Clark with me, the first 5 from varsity, mate, because you'd kicked one earlier from about the same spot, then you had those 2 late shots. Thoughts? A bit disappointed?
No, yeah, disappointed of course. I mean, 2 kicks that I could get over in practice.
Yep.
And after Fabs threw a bit of chat out there, it was going through my head. I have a tendency to curve on my kicks, and I was putting a bit too much on it, just not being able to get a good plant foot in that slippery turf, but it's all right.
Mate, so look, it was interesting, was it? Because I mean, you were down 18-11, things are looking a bit tight, but you dragged your side back into the game with 2 penalties. You certainly played probably finished stronger than Dunedin, so you'd have to be disappointed as a team that you didn't get up and get over the line today.
Yeah, well, we just didn't make the most of our opportunities. We got down to their half a few times, had a few good launches, and yeah, especially that line out ball. Fabs killed us in the air. We couldn't execute, and that's probably what let us down in the end.
And I've got big Fabian Holland, by the way, and I'm feeling a bit short standing beside Fabian Holland. He's all of 6'9", had a big day. I think your forward pack in the main played pretty well, and you certainly dominated the line out, Tom.
Yeah, no, the boys did really well. We can be proud of the shift we put in today. All 23 of us. No, we did a real good job, and it's time to get back to the drawing board and see what we can improve for next week against Alhambra.
So mate, you've had a couple of weeks off with injury. I think you might have rolled your ankle. So, but that was again. I mean, that's a good gutsy win from me, and that's 3 on the trot in the Galloway Trophy. That's a good start for the big round of the comp.
Yeah, no, the boys. Like I said before, the boys are have a bit of momentum now, and just trying to carry that momentum through and just keep improving ourselves. So.
Okay, so look, there it is, all over 18-16 here. The scores quickly round the ground. Kaikoura got up over Harbour down at Port, 22-17. Zingers, the mighty Zingaree, Chris Bell's 272nd game. They held on to beat Alhambra Union at their home ground, 21-20. It'll be a big old night at Zingaree today. And Tyree, too strong for Southern, 22 points to 10. And that's ODT Rugby Chat for this week at a dark, doomy, dark place. And this is sponsored by Liquorland, and we'll be back again with you next week.
And now recapping tonight's top stories on the South today. No, we're having a few technical difficulties. We'll go straight to the ODT. And we welcome Craig Page with us this evening. Kia ora, Craig.
Good evening. You can always rely on the ODT to save the day.
Here we go.
Exactly.
The old format.
Exactly. Busy time around the region over the weekend, of course, plenty on, and lots of rain continuing to fall up in the South Canterbury region. We've got more on that tomorrow. Our staff in Timaru and Ashburton offices have been out and about taking lots of photos in the rain, as you can imagine.
Yeah.
And of course some concerns now with State Highway 1 closed north of Ashburton that supermarket supplies for the lower South Island could be in jeopardy as well. Both foodstuffs mentioning that there will be some supply shortages on the shelves, so we can prepare for that.
Yeah.
But again, urging no panic buying, don't go rushing out and shopping. But hopefully things will be cleared up in the next day or so and we can move on with that. Final day of the visit as well by Scott Morrison today, and we've had Daisy Hudson up there covering that for us. Scott Morrison left this afternoon, heading back, of course, to Melbourne, and no doubt some issues with COVID as well, as things tend to get worse over there. Busy days of meetings today with our Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern, and of course they're both playing nice in the media conference today, saying, praising each other, talking up the Anzac spirit, as we, but of course the links with China and trade as well, they've been hot topics as well. Lots of accusations at New Zealand in recent days about our handling of things. Jacinda Ardern's adamant that we haven't sold out to China, and Morrison was tending to agree as well, but what they say behind closed doors might be another matter, who knows. DCC's 10-year plan deliberations got away in earnest today, so there's going to be a few days of that, lots of discussions over where our money is going to be spent over the next 10 years. Yeah. The latest on the Sports Hall of Fame, whether they're going to support that or not, a new theatre for Dunedin and community housing were up for discussion today, so we'll have lots of coverage on that. And just finally, our travel pages columnist Lisa Scott was visiting the sites of Wellington, using apps on her smartphone for the first time to find her way around the city. So a bit of a novelty for her, but she appears to have been hooked now and had a great old time up there, so it's well worth a read, that story.
Great, Craig. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Now, hopefully time for a look at the weather.
Tonight's weather proudly brought to you by Mole Map.
Looking at the situation, a westerly airflow increases tomorrow ahead of a weakening cold front due early Wednesday. Things should stay mostly fine for most of this week, but look out for some rain at the weekend. Heading across to the northwest of the South Island, mild temperatures, though it should be fine for both Westport and Greymouth on 14 degrees. Heading over to the northeast, it's much the same. Sunny here too, with Nelson on 14, Blenheim has 13 degrees. But the weekend's rain continues in Canterbury, and the mercury continues to descend as we travel down the coast. 12 in Kaikoura, 12 in Christchurch as well, and 10 in Ashburton. Heading right down south, it's light to moderate westerlies for all here with some cloud. The Catlins, Balclutha and Gore should each reach 11 degrees. Lumsden one-ups them, reaching 12. And the remaining southern towns should all sit between that 11 to 13 degree range tomorrow. In central, Tiano shares the fortunes of many in the southern towns with westerlies, cloud and 11 degrees. Wanaka, Queenstown and Alexandria all experience light winds but are otherwise fine on 12, 12 and 13 respectively. Further north and on the coast, it's southwesterlies and cloud for Oamaru and Timaru on 12 and 13 degrees. The winds are lighter inland, otherwise fine in Twizel and Omarama, both sitting on 13. In Dunedin, showers clear tonight with an overnight low of 5. Cloud and southwest winds subside tomorrow for a rather fine 12-degree day with 7 overnight. And it's mostly cloudy and cool on Wednesday with moderate westerly winds, a high of 12 and a low of 6 degrees. And in Invercargill, becoming fine tonight but cool with an overnight low of 3. Things start off fine tomorrow, but cloud and westerly winds increase as the day progresses, a high of 13 and a low of 7. And on Wednesday, those clouds and westerlies bring rain early on before things clear later on, a high of 12 and a low of 5 degrees. And that's the news this Monday. For the latest news from the southern region, head online to odt.co.nz and follow Channel 39 on Facebook and YouTube. Nō reira, kia pai te pō, ka kite anō.
This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.